Hello friends and neighbors, John your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome to my deck. It's a little stormy, but it's not raining right now. I want to talk to you about Canadian whiskey. I want to talk to you about several bottles before July 1st, Canada Day, but I'm running out of time. Today, I want to talk to you about Lohin McKinnon Chocolate Malt. Thanks for staying with me through the break. As I said in the intro, Canada Day is coming up, and usually ahead of that I like to go through a few interesting or different or even just, you know, what Canadian whiskey I'm drinking to give my fellow patriots an idea of maybe what to have during a Canada Day celebration. So this is Lohin McKinnon. Lohin McKinnon is from, I like their bottles. You know, it says Central City on the glass right there. Central City Brewery, I think they started in beer. They're in Surrey, BC, just by Vancouver area. And I think they started in beer, Red River, I'm not going to get it. I'm not from BC. But anyways, they started with that and then have been working on releasing whiskey. And I've had, actually, I have a bit of an appreciation for local. This particular bottle is their it's a single malt, so it's, you know, it's all them, and it's all malt, so it's all barley. It's the chocolate malt, and this one's released at 43%. There's no age stamp on it. It is aged in Sauternes barrels, so that's that sweet French wine barrels. This is really interesting. It is a chocolate malt, a real chocolate malt. So by that I mean, I think it's not all of it. I know it's not all of it. I've read somewhere it's about 15% of the malt is that really cooked malt. So it gets dark, chocolatey. About 15% is that. The rest is their regular pure malt that they go on to use. So they don't say, wish they would, that this is all natural color. If anybody at Central City is watching this, you know, let me know. That's something you should be proud of, it's natural color. Because they don't say, I'm worried that it's colored. Because I know that it's young with no age stamp on it, right? But 43% chocolate malt, aged in that sweet French wine, Sauternes barrels. Let's see what it's like on the nose and how it tastes. Nose is very quickly, for me, sweet fruit, actually. It's sweet, because I know it's a white, like sweet white raisin, but that you know, sweet chewy raisin, vanilla. A little bit of alcohol does come up on the nose, right? So it is, even though it's only 43%, I think it's from its youth. It just has a little bit of it in there, but it's got a bit of a sweet fruit character. Maybe a little, you know, caramel, some cooked sugars at the end, but at the end, if you stay with the nose for a while, here, you're going to get a hint of what's coming next. You might suddenly go, wait, that went from a sweet fruit to a really dark fruit, or went from that lighter vanilla to was that an oakiness? Was that a woody? And the longer you stay at it, it comes back after you have a sip. So I haven't had one today, but I'm trying to stay just in the nose. So you might get hints of chocolate in the nose is what I'm trying to stay out of. You're going to get that because you read it and you think about it. But I actually think the nose is really pretty fruit forward. Well, and now it's building up, and now you get a bit of that cocoa. Let's see how it tastes. Cheers. I think it was actually the last Lohin McKinnon that I said the same thing. The palate on this whiskey it really changes from the nose. So the palate very quickly gives dark fruit, prune, pithy, fig, and chocolate. It really does. But not, now the palate isn't sweet. Even though the nose for me was a bit sweet fruit, the palate is like cocoa, dark chocolate, on that edge of coffee, on that edge of, really, it's malty. So malty, chocolatey, cooked, a little bit nutty. Yeah, a little bit nut husk, almost coconut. Yeah, so finish is a little light. Finish is a little early. Thankfully, it's somewhat drying, which I appreciate. It's not tannic or bitter. It can, I guess, if you have multi-sips and it kind of builds up. It can get a little bitter on the wood. But look, this is an experienced whiskey. By that, I mean it is unique. It is different. I have to ask, I can't do the Anaconda, sir. But I want to give a shout out to my man, Food Quig. Look, I saw you enjoying this one evening and it hit my list just the way you were talking about it. I was like, I have to find that bottle. And I did in Calgary, and there's still a few in Calgary. There's nothing in Edmonton. I like it way more than I should. Look, it was entered into several competitions, I think San Francisco and the Canadian Whiskey, and it's getting silvers and bronzes. So, it's a quality single malt. But it's young, and it's, you could almost say off balance, but in my whiskey journey right now, where if I open up another bottle and all it is smooth, sweet, a little oak, yeah, man, I have another bottle, I got to get through that. Instead, I'm at a place where something like this, which is very different, and it's very different from traditional Canadian. This is something that I am going to enjoy every drop. So critically, yeah, it probably sits in around that 3.5 star, which is good whiskey. But if you can't tell by the way I'm talking, I enjoy this where I am. If someone's going to pour me a higher quality 18-year-old, that's a nice scotch. I'm like, yeah, that's a nice scotch. Or this, I'm going for this. Sure, it's a little bit young, it's a little bit whatever. But the flavors are creative. And the more I go at it, now the nose needs to be better. The nose doesn't do its service, and the finish doesn't do its justice. But while you are tasting this, then it came. I was about to say, there's a little bit of stringency, but then that full malt, that full chocolate malt, just as it says, mixed with that sweet barrel finish, is a delight. There's enough rough in here that anybody who has access to expensive stuff, you're going to drink something better than this. But for those of us that are playing around that $50 bottle range, I have to say it was a little more. This is sitting more around the $65 mark. And this at least gets you into something different without just adding something and making a whiskey cocktail, right? So this gets a recommend, gets a try it out. It's a great whiskey journey, especially if you can't afford Glenmorangie's Signet, right, which is all chocolate malt. I mean, anyways, not trying to compare it to that. On its own, what a unique Canadian whiskey. A few knocks against it, but its flavor is something worth checking out. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I really hope I can find some time to review a few more Canadian bottles before Canada Day is suddenly on us. So, take care.